So we're back here. I'm gonna go ahead and go through what I've been doing for the past week. Again, it's just gonna be all research stuff that I've been doing. I haven't done any trades yet. Still looking into that and still not too comfortable with what I've been learning. Still getting familiar with the path that I'm gonna take. Still getting familiar with the strategy. There's a couple strategies that I'm interested in. So one of them, I did post a video to my Facebook page, and that was like the 3-bar, 4-bar, stuff like that. And what that video is actually about is swing trading. So swing trading is looks like a pretty good deal, but you have to be really, you have to have a well understanding of what the trend is doing and anticipating its next move in order for you to make some type of profit, within a short amount of time, which is what I like, is that time period. It's quick, and that's where I want to get. But again, it's going to take me some time to really comprehend what they're doing, what they're looking out for. So that's what I've been doing lately. So I've been taking my notes, watching these videos that Thinkorswim offers. They have their education center here. They have some videos. So I've been going through these videos here, and let's see if they can. So I did beginner. Yeah, so you can select your levels here, which is what I like. So the level I selected for these different types of training materials was beginner, because that's what I am. I'm a beginner. And the first one that they had for the beginners was how to read a stock chart and going into bull market strategies, make the trend your friend, diversifying, taxes and investing, financial regulators, investing basic stocks, and just working my way up from there. So while watching these videos, what I do is I take my notes. So here I have one note. So this is the first video there, how to read a stock chart playlist. And I add the URL there so I can take it. You can see the time when I took that, or when I started taking the notes. It was Thursday. So yesterday at 7:52 a.m. I just started watching the movies and or the videos, and while I'm watching it, I'm taking my notes, so, and I'm pinpointing where, just highlighting certain areas that really intrigue me, certain points that I'm going to be looking into. So the one area that I really caught interest to was the short-term investors, also known as swing traders. So that's where the video comes into play that I mentioned earlier. So I'll be, looking a lot into this here. But again, there's, I did pick up a few things, stuff like that, what to look for in the peaks and troughs, peak and trough analysis. So I know before I probably misused some terms, which I was, peaking out at the bottom, you would call that a trough. So your peak is at the top, your trough is at the bottom, right before it turns back up again. So, still catching on to little stuff like that. But again, so what I'm doing is watching these videos and taking my notes as I am watching them, because that's the best way for me to really catch on to this, to really learn. So one note right now is my biggest friend. So again, still haven't done any trading yet, still in the midst of taking these courses, browsing around. So what I have here is the Wells Fargo stock, and I know I did mention before that this was one to look out for, because I said in the past they did have similar trends to what is happening right now. So in the past, let's see, about a year ago, about a year ago, they dropped down to 43, and they peaked up at 52. 52. So then fast forwarding now, they went down to 43. Now they're at 49.06. So, and that's where I'm looking at right now. And I wish I would have, had some of these funds available at that time around, 8:16, 8:15. is when that stock dropped. So that's when I really should have taken advantage of that. But right now we're sitting at 49.06. If I bought, at that 43.25, sold at that 49, and bought maybe for like 5,000 or so and sold it, probably would have made a profit of like 2,000. 1,000, 2,000, depending on how I traded, and what I looked out for and when I traded. So when you trade, that's big. It plays a big factor in your return, and that's what I'm reviewing right now. Again, the swing trading. So really looking out for the trends, the patterns between these different candlesticks here, and what they really mean. So that video that I watched or I posted about the 3-bar, 4-bar, 5-bar patterns. That's what I'm trying to really grasp right now, is looking out for these large bars followed by a shorter bar and then followed by another bar. So I'll post that video in the link as well, but this type of pattern here is what I'm looking out for. But again, this would be the type of pattern you want to see on when the stock opens. So when the New York Stock Exchange opens, so my time, it opens at 6:30. That means I need to be up in here at 5:30 doing my scans, my market scans. So this is a scanner right here. So I don't have anything in there yet, so I have to set it up to be able to do my scans, scan the different stuff that's going on out there, the different stocks, and then look at those stocks. So that's for the swing trading. Then for this one that I'm showing here, this is Wells Fargo. I'm going to be looking to invest in Wells Fargo long term. So buy stock and keep it for a period of time, and then also some Apple stock once I get a little bit more funds. Their stock is up there, pretty up there, and I want to get a good chunk of their stock. So going back to the videos that I've watched in the past, Warren Buffett, one of the biggest investors out there, top guy, obviously one you want to watch, look out for, just follow what he's doing, get a understanding of his mindset. And he says, he doesn't do any investing in technology, invest in something you understand. And he does have, like maybe, I think 25% of his portfolio is in Apple. But again, so that's tech. But again, he doesn't invest in tech, zero tech, except the Apple, because he calls that, quote unquote, the farm. He bought the farm there when you buy Apple, and there's a video out there as well. So if you want to look that up, what he means by that, that makes a lot of sense. And his second biggest stock portfolio is Wells Fargo, or actually not Wells Fargo. He does own Wells Fargo, but I think it's Bank of America. So I'll be looking at Bank of America stock as well. But just because I'm familiar with Wells Fargo and familiar with their trends and what they've done in the past, it just makes sense to look there, start there. For me, I'll start there for my long-term investing. Short-term, again, for my short-term investments, I'm going to be doing scans early in the morning, about 6 in the morning my time. Right now, it's 3 hours ahead of New York, so once we get to 2 hours, that might make it a little better. But this is what I'll be doing, and whatever top 3 stocks come up in my scans, then I'll be looking at their trends. And going back to that video about the 3-bar, 4-bar, 5-bar, looking for that gap, looking to see where they have that gap. And with swing trading, it doesn't matter if the stock is going down or if it's going up. And if you place your trades, you're still gonna win anyway. You're betting, so you're betting even if it goes down, you're betting if it goes up, but you're still gonna make a profit. Even if the stock goes down, you make a bet and it still goes down, that's not gonna make a difference, because you're still betting on that downturn. But that's that swing trading that I'm still doing a little bit more research on. Also, another thing, for all of this that I'm doing, I do have my consulting, my little consulting company here, little consulting business, have my LLC and stuff set up like that. And what I want to do with that is open up some office space. So I've been talking about office space briefly in the past. I did do a few tours of a few places just to get an idea of what, kind of what they look like, what type of options they offer, and, just location, stuff like that, and what would fit for me in the interim right now. So, my team right now is still pretty small. I work with 4 offshore resources, so they're in India, one is in Venezuela, and I think, so 3 are actually in India, 1 in Delhi, and I'm not familiar with the other 2 city names. Once I get set up, so I'm primarily using them for, development type work that I posted in my first video. And I did put some stuff out there that I was looking for some resources to kind of unload some of my workload, and that's what I'm doing. That's why I have them out there handling more of that technical stuff. And once I get some office space, then and get a little bit more settled, then I'll start looking for administrative type positions to fill. Some technical people as well, but accounting, HR, administrators, stuff like that, just to help around, keep the business running, help us expand. That's the biggest thing, is expansion. I'm still working out of my home office, and I've been here for a couple years, and that's usually about the time, even with my jobs in the past, I would stay with them for a couple years, my contracts, and then move on, because I don't want to feel like I'm stalling, staling, and staying in one place. I'm always on the move. I keep good relationships with them, so a lot of the times I would go back and do some work for them. So these companies I'm working for right now, I've worked with them in the past, and they like the work that I've done. So looking to make that form that into a business relationship. Long term, maybe we can start providing staffing for them as well. So with this consulting company, we're going to be consultants. We're consultants. We're the people that people would hire. These companies would hire to handle their really complex tasks. That or short term, long term projects. 6 months, a year to 2 years. And they need some SMEs, subject matter experts on certain things, then we'll be the ones to provide that company with that services under CAS Consulting. And I can go out there, get the office space, get all that. And one thing is, I don't want to take out any loans. That's one thing I really want to stay away from, is taking out loans. And I'm a firm believer in really starting this up from the bottom, based on my efforts, and of course the help of my team. But again, no loans, strictly just from our profits, our work efforts, our contracts. So the big piece of our revenue is going to be coming from contracts that we win, and providing our consulting services to them. So as we win contracts, the more contracts we get, obviously our staff will grow with that. So will our capital, and so will our spending power. More again, we'll be just getting that money from our contracts, and to even get the office space. Again, I don't want to take out any loans, stuff like that. So that's why I resorted to investing. I'll just be using this investment money that I get to fund the lease that we get. Depending on what type of office space we get. It's going to be small at first. And there's a couple places I was looking at here in Chandler that were really nice. Some were just like 3 miles away. But there was this one space at Tempe Town Lake, overlooking the Tempe Town Lake in those new glass buildings they have there. And that was a pretty nice looking building, and it was overlooking the lake, and it was actually a pretty good price. But again, the drive from where I'm at to there, it's about a good 8 miles, and the traffic, hitting the 101 up to the 202, that's gonna be a lot. That's why I started working from home, working remote, was to get away from that commute. But again, that having that nice office space there, it'll be nice. So here's my TD Ameritrade account. You can see my first initial 1,000 is funded there. So you can see that there. I haven't done anything with it. So you can see everything is still 0. I don't have any positions yet, nothing. So my 1,000 is sitting there. And what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and add some more money. So, and again, the last one, it did take like 4 days. 4 days to clear. Even though I did this, electronic bank transfer, it still did take some time for it to clear. So that's what I will do right now. I will put in my second 1,000. I'm going to select my bank information here. What I didn't see here before was this frequency. So right now I have it set to one time, but there's a weekly option. So I'm going to set that. And I want it to be every Friday. If it will let you do that. Wait, let's see. What does it says if you say every other week? No. So I'll do weekly. Hopefully it doesn't do it like on a Monday. It has to go through on Friday. There's an end date, no end date. Well, actually, yeah, let's go ahead and set that up right now. I'm going to say November 15th. End by then, because that was my initial time to, fund. So by November 15th, that's when, I better be very familiar and, understand all these different trading options and ready to actively start trading, with some pretty good amount of funds. I'm going to send a reminder of my recurring, and that's going to send it to my business email. It looks like there's going to be a week delay whenever I fund this. So if I fund, on Fridays, then, by almost the following Friday, by the time I'll be ready to post my next 1,000, that's when those funds will be available. So yeah, there's about a week delay there. I did my funding, and I'm still going to be reviewing. So as I mentioned, during the time as I'm funding, I'm going to be researching, doing my due diligence, and that's what I'm doing right now, just getting familiar with all these different trading options. And there's a lot of material here to go through, and this here is just for the beginners. I just filtered on beginners, and it looks like they have quite a bit of pages worth of stuff. Yeah, 3 pages worth of media for beginners. Once I get to the intermediate stuff, oh yeah, they got trading psychology and risk management. That's definitely going to be a big one, managing risk. It still looks like there's quite a bit of stuff there, useful stuff. Advanced strategies for a bear market, and that's where we're at right now. So understanding this in this type of environment that we're in, today, with how our economy is, with all this talk about recessions, understanding this bear market, you're going to be betting against the market, that the market will, turn for the worse, and you're still in a position to make some money there. Wells Fargo, they do have high volume. So in that video as well, they talk about volume. So I'll keep my eye on it. It's headed on a positive trend, but once I saw that turn red, that might be something going on there. So then with the patterns, this is in an upward trend, so you're going to have high highs and high lows. So then it can flatten out. So let's see what they said here. I'm going to look back at my notes. Yeah, like I said, okay, so yeah, well, yeah, I see that red in that corner there. Let's see what my notes say about that. I'll be doing this for the rest of, over the weekend as well. I'll be watching more videos, taking my notes, and doing exactly like what I'm doing here, watching stocks, mainly looking at these short-term investor strategies, swing trading, and then, actively applying what I know as far as analysis to these stocks, their active movements, so just looking at them and trying to see if I can understand, what some of those trends mean and if I can predict the next outcome. That's the goal, is prediction. And I think I'm pretty good with prediction, over the years. I've made some pretty good choices, and, I took some risk, and again, they turned out good. So, I'm pretty good at managing risk. You have to take a risk, though. That's the first thing. You can't manage risk if you're not even taking a risk. And that's what I'm doing here. You can see this here. My current value now, it says 2,000. And, just a little information, like with my personal life. I had some car issues. Both of our cars kind of, didn't want to do what they're supposed to. That was a big chunk of change there, almost $800 to get that thing fixed. But they're commuters, so yeah, we're definitely have to be paying maintenance over the years. Once I'm, done with my 1,000 a week, then we should be a little better. But again, right now, I'm taking some really big risks as far as, doing my deposits, and then wanted to trade with big amounts. So this here, I could start trading with this 2,000, but I don't want to do that. I'll start trading using 5,000 so that I can get a big return on that. That's why I really want to do some deep diving and really taking this seriously, taking my notes down, watching videos, taking my notes down, taking really good notes. Having a good note structure will help you in your understanding, so if you want to go back to what you previously wrote, you can set up your notebooks, pages, stuff like that, and just refer back to it. But again, this here is going to be with me, long term. And then eventually, once I get a good handle of things, and then I start I can start writing things out in my own words, what I feel works and what I feel doesn't work, and then put it into my own templates here. So this is one I'm doing for setting up a business and licensing. And then this is just the requirements gathering and analysis phase. You can see I'm doing some updates here and stuff like that, but just making an outline for somebody out there who's wanted to kind of do the same thing for themselves. A little overview, a little guide of some of the things that you should be looking out for. I'll be posting this document out there as well once I get my SharePoint site populated with a little bit more material. I'll make it available out there in some form where you can go out and download some of these templates, and I'll have links in these templates showing you where you would need to go for your licensing, how to get licensing, stuff like that. That's all I had so far.